Good morning! Good morning! Good morning! What? Previously on KIMBA TV. Basically, brother, if we stay above Bugatti dealership, we're good. You need to get above VWAP, okay? And obviously, something like this would be pretty easy to figure out. Swing high, swing low, that's golden pocket. It's the retest of this. We don't get bullish on penetration, we get bullish on blank. The one that would be a little bit shittier, okay, the one that would have a less likelihood of working out is you get a rejection at the point of control instead of the VWAP. I probably wouldn't try to long this, okay? If it goes to VWAP, taps it, or it goes to the gap fill but not mine, or even better, the value area high, and then it's a rotate, I'm going to think it's a full rotate, so it's got a chance to hold the value area low, and then the invalidation would be that. So good morning, good morning. Happy Wednesday, y'all. Let's go get nasty on them. Yeah, how we doing? How we doing, Lance? Talk to me. Hey, Sigur DNS, thank you for the resub. Everybody juicing? All right, so let's just cut to the fucking chase, man. Let's just cut to the fucking chase. Who's in longs? Who needs to chase the long? That's the long. Who still needs to chase this bitch? Kimba, tell me, if you're not in a long, where would be the next place where you would get into a long? If hypothetically, if you weren't in a long, I'm asking for my friend, okay? Hypothetically, just hypothetically, if you're not in a long, where would you chase it? Yes. Let's take a look, Fred. VWAP retest. All right, U.S. markets are open. Lower. Maybe right here you get away with one. This would be better. And even this would be better. Bravo Trading says 105, 150 is my juicy entry. Nice. Barshim says no chasing. Okay, big dog. Nate says, is it wrong to not be in a long? No, not really, you know, but once we get above 1088, we're going to squeeze the all-time high, so. Paul says, did you chase the bullish retest of Bugatti? I actually got pixel perfect 886. Yeah, there should be a clip where I circled the 886. Yeah, so I got this entry live with you guys, and I got this entry. Paul says I knew it. Yeah, but Paul, I said 886 was definitely a candidate, especially for the CME. Yeah, and do you know what allows me to try to be aggressive on those longs, Paul? Because I have the 108 short. Yeah, and then if that hadn't worked out, then it would have been the SFP. But yes, Paul, if you remember, anytime you got back above, good, below, bad. Yeah, lots of different ways you could have played it. One is the SFP. So maybe like that's your entry right there. But I think as long as you see the SFP and you understand the Bugatti dealership, that's your plan B, right? Bullish retest or just kind of market smashing the Liquinia Bugatti dealership. All right, Paul, anything between the swing fail and the Bugatti dealership would have been a fine entry. Hey, Bliss says, yeah, you even called the potential 3 drive. Yep. Yeah, that showed up too. So 3rd drive, SFP, back above Bugatti dealership. Easy. Fioga says, come on, guys. Kimba was telling us about 886 possibility when everyone was getting horny. Yeah, it started to get a little overcrowded down at Consuela, huh? Petru says, we had a naked point of control at this level too. We did. Yes. JV says, I missed it after getting stopped out. God damn it. That's okay, though. That's okay, though. The Bugatti dealership level is the key. Dr. Mahan says, didn't get filled $10 away from my limit order. Gotcha. Well, JV, that's okay. At least you tried. If you get a pullback to 382, holy shit, that's kind of a gift. If you get a pullback to like that point of control, easy money, Bugatti money. And there's still a chance that like bulls can't defend, I guess, JV. But once you get above 1088, we're going to start an epic squeeze to all-time high. So something to kind of think about. You might need to get into like a bullish retest or something if it breaks that descending trend line, you know? But once that breaks, it's gonna go as we've been talking about. Not too bad though, huh? Look at that. Useless motherfucking lines. Bulls need to make sure they get above this. You don't want to do like a oh fuck. JV, did you just get here or did you hear me say watch for that? I even gave you the goofy voice and everything. Yeah, look for something like this, dude. Come on, man. Wake up. Easy money. Quit playing with me. You saw it? Okay, good. Let's go. Lock in. Quit playing with me. Dude, who gives a shit? The Bugatti dealership is like at 1057. Like, if you get 1065, like, you're fine, right? Come on. How do we do it, JV? It's going to be taking it. JV says, I'm going to look for this, but goddamn, I had big lung. Got stopped out again. That's okay, JV. Maybe you were sleeping, but that's 3 drives right there. And anything above the swing fail all the way to the Bugatti dealership would have been fair game. But maybe you were sleeping. But that's okay. Yeah, so JV, you know, obviously it's a full rotate, right? So you need to be aware of this, okay? You need to be aware of this. And if you get it, I don't think you would, dude, but like the point of control, dude. And by the way, JV, like there's like a 12%, 15% chance that they just ripped and it's going to come right back. The problem is this was during ETH. So incredibly giant gap, right? So it's counterproductive to do something like this at ETH, you know? So it's not as bullish as most people would think. That's why we're talking about a pink. Oh, we're going to go. No, you're not. Fuck. So yeah, let's see. You're obviously watching full rotate. That's why volume profile is so important. If you get that, oh my God. You know, if you get this, oh my God. All right? How we doing, Lions? Quit playing with me. How y'all do it? Here says, I'm trying to improve my TP stop loss lately. Where should I put stop loss for rest of my 99.5 long? I think, Amir, what you should do is just go with what you think is best, Amir. What I want you to do is build your habit of figuring out on your own. Because if you can't do that when you're juicing, you're really going to hard time doing that when you're a little bit in the red. So anytime that you're in the green, when you're juicing, use that as an opportunity to make sure that you know what you're doing. Like, you know, take your time and make sure that you can prepare and plan. All right, because if you're going to ask me, where should I put my stop loss for my 99.5 long, that means that you're going to be asking me where your stop loss should be when you're a little bit in the red too. And you can't do that. So yeah, I would just do whatever you think is best, my guy. Zerniat says exact like your YouTube highlights yesterday. Zerniat, let's go! Exclamation YouTube! Are you ready for all-time high? Amino Noob says, what edge can confirm which pullback is eligible to bounce from? Data. Open interest, VWAP, time spent, structure, all that kind of stuff, Amino Noob. Wandu says, well, turned out my long from yesterday worked out great. Exactly. Easy money, Wandu. Let's go. Torque says, Kimba, you really called that 886 bounce yesterday, huh? You know what the biggest giveaway was, Torque? And you can hear me say this. Way too many lion cubs and like people that really don't know what they're doing talking about SFP. Yep. So yeah, towards the end, I was like, well, we're going to have to mark out the 886. And it pixeled. That's that. And then this one. Oops. What the fuck? Why does it switch? My keyboard shortcuts are, I think, a little bit fucked up after I installed this new Stream Deck. I'm over phase of moving stop loss further down. Will maximize profits because that's the goal right now. Nice. If I were you, Amir, I would think, you know, full rotation. So value area high, value area low. So that's always going to come into play. Take a look at where VWAP is. You're going to notice that the point of control for the previous session, yesterday's, is going to be right around here. And then you also have the golden pocket kind of lining up right there. So all of this, I think, is fair game. Obviously, you can't make a lower low. Yeah, so this is normal. This is normal. You know, like you don't have to close your long. Yeah, I mean, we're going to be expecting all-time highs if we can, you know, hold these levels. And so, yeah, just let that thing ride. But yeah, you can't lose 105. So. Alrighty, Amir, let's get that juice, man. JV says, they got me fucked up with those longs. I'm pissed on God knows what. JV, so here's what we should do, JV. What I want you to do is basically reset, okay? You need to get rid of all biases, okay? You have to genuinely reset. Like, you got to get rid of all biases. All right, so just forget about, oh, bad lows, Consuela, it didn't do this, it didn't do that, 886, fuck the 886. Reset, 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 reset. All right, let's talk a couple of things right now, JV. First things first, do you have levels identified to the downside and to the upside? So, if we keep going, we still have 26 minutes on this brand new 30-minute candle close, okay? 886 to 618, yes. But more so than that, can you see the confluence at the 7.5 level and the previous value? Okay, so if you kind of just look at this structure-wise, okay? Do you see that the 7.5 was resistance? And do you see that it pixel fucked the 618? So clearly, once again, would it be fair to say that the 30-minute candle closes is what you should switch to? Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, so just forget about open interest and like all the complicated stuff. Let's just take it step by step, okay? If I were to ask you, hey, big dog, where would be a commonsensical place to maybe chase along? What would be your answer? JV. Let's say that, and this is based off of in 25 minutes, the 30-minute candle closing, right? At 886. But let's say that instead of just completely rocketing through, all right? And really, JV, outside of, no, not 618, it would be the 75. Yeah, you already flipped the golden pocket into support. So the most commonsensical thing would be to just see this, see this, see this, dink, dink, dink. And that's your value area high. What the fuck? I can't promise you, I can't tell you that it's gonna do that, but that's the first aggressive area where you would think about doing it, right? If that doesn't work, right? Because your invalidation would be this. If this doesn't work, what would be the next place? Think about taking a long. I want you to look at this. Point of control, value area high, and value area low. So if you get it, awesome. If you don't, bummer. All right? Because you're not, it's not like you're gonna try to long here, you know, or here, right? So that's it. And here's the other thing, JV. Let's say, for example, so let's say that you don't get the pullback, right? Have you seen where it doesn't do a bullish retest at these levels and it does this and then it comes back? Have you seen, or is that out of the question for you? Is that something that you've seen before that you can trust based off of your own experience? And that kind of would line up with the bullish retest of this. So what I would do if I were you is, instead of huffing and puffing about missing it, both scenarios. So that's if you don't make a higher high, right? If you make a higher high, and I guess the last thing is, if you don't get a bullish retest, then what? Well, this is your sub-range point of control. So worst case scenario, you need to get into a long and have an entry before 108.950 before it gets going, because the target would be here. All right, JV, that's it. That's the best you can do. And if you can just do that, and not get emotionally compromised and just be patient, then it doesn't matter that you don't have a long, okay? You're still a winner in my book. That's all you're responsible for, my guy, okay? Being prepared. If you said, hey, where's a good place to head short? I could reverse that process and I could identify levels for you and do all of that for you in reverse.
He said, what did you say?
Okay?
He just told us
And
to be
brother,
prepared.
I haven't even begun to talk about VWAP or S&P. And the last thing that I can tell you is, what would be the bearish way to react at the, what would be something bear, this is value high. What would be a bear way to react to this? Well, this would be fucked. You know, this would be fucked. Anything indicating that it's like, oh, like that would be fucked. You know? So if you, if you want this, it better be like a digit. Any questions? Thomas, brother, can you please quickly show the fractal from last year's range? I can't find the right timestamp on the replay. Sure. The fuck? Oh. I mean, like this. And then I move over. I grab it. And then I shrink it. And then I compress it. And then I shrink it just a little bit. And then I move it like that. It's like 130, right? Zamverse, what would price action if by any chance turns bearish? I think if you lose 108, I think you're kind of fucked a little bit, but that's bullish retest on value area high, so that's no big deal. You know what I mean? Theoretically, you don't want to spend too much time below the orange line, so that's kind of an easy thing. We just cleaned this 1097 is like a zone of resistance, and we just got the bad highs cleaned up. So now we're gonna, so like that level should be done, like check mark, you know, like it's obviously a zone of resistance, and it has cleaned the bad highs, and so theoretically, the first one is, if it's a swing fail, the second one should confirm, right? So if we get one more red 30-minute candle, I mean, the sub-range point of control and the 108.345 and the 107.8 all come back into play. And then at that point, you're probably pulling anchor VWAP, fibs, looking for hidden CVD bull div, and then trying to figure out if you actually want to take a long on a Wednesday. Probably. I think it's okay. Yeah, so I would probably say if you get back into value area high, then it's probably looking a little bit funky. Okay, I don't know. What do you think? All I know is that 1097 is a level of interest, right? It had bad highs, so it wasn't done. It cleaned the bad highs, so theoretically, it's now done engaging with that level. And we're going to see 108.969 next. I don't know if that's going to bounce, but that's your next level of interest. Curvies, what's going on? Fabo, what's going on? Miguel, what's going on? Santa, Mark. Zam versus, we want it stay above orange line is what I think. Sure, yeah, you theoretically should, but what does that mean, stay above? Because I said that I'm okay with it losing, going all the way to value area high, as long as you don't spend 2 or 3 30-minute candle closes above or below the orange line. You know, I'm okay if it loses it, I just don't want you spending time below it. But we'll see it together. I'm going to be here for at least another 2.5 hours. Any other questions? 8 more minutes. Shay says, hello, Kimba. I'm looking for a long. Sorry, I'm catching up. I got stopped out overnight. That's okay, Shays. That's okay, Shays. Well, if you want me to kind of just give you the answer, I'm looking at the 0.75 if you're somebody that is looking to chase a long. The reason why is because I looked at volume profile and we looked at the previous value area high. So that's an amazing place. Obviously, it's also a level where the sub-range point of control. So like, look at this. That's crazy, right? Coinbase 5-minute candles, the way that they're reacting to these levels. And you know that we've had these levels. So just take a look, Shays. Look at the way that the levels are reacting, right? So we just talked about a failed auction, which is really the last hope for bears, right? But what I would really be more interested, instead of like, you know, thinking about shorting or anything like that, is the potential bullish retest of the value area high. That's it. And I got filled at the Bugatti. TTV says, Kimba, can you check Sol? Absolutely, but do you have a specific question in mind, sir? What question do you have? So TTV, do you remember when we were talking about bullish retest? And now we're going to aim for higher, right? For us to be able to get above that, what's the first thing that we would have to do? From the swing high to the swing low, where is the golden pocket? So that's where we're at right now, brother. Have you done something like this? So it's really just Bing. Those are your three levels right now. So for you to get above here, what would you want? If you were going to be able to break out of this value area high and start going to the next level, what would you want to see? It's level by level. So you got to try to get above here to have a shot at this. To have this, you have to do something like this. All right. And there's a bunch of single prints and imbalances all the way through. So you just kind of have to finesse that. Okay, but just make sure you all the levels sort of figured out so you know you can anticipate. Did that help or not? TTV strict. If you straight up ask me, hey, if there is a scalp long to be had, where would it be? If there's a scalp short to be had, where would it be? You can just straight up ask me, TTV strict. It's just going to be a combination of let's get the levels figured out, like volume, VWAP. All right. And then just like divs. And the thing is, TTV or strict, we're going to be going into a 3-day holiday weekend. So really tomorrow before lunchtime is the last sort of time where we can actually do math, okay? Once it's after lunchtime, throw all this math shit out the window because it's a 3-day holiday weekend. They're going to manipulate the fuck out of this. So all this abracadabra math bullshit, it's only going to be until tomorrow lunchtime, okay? After that, it's all fucked, okay? The laws of physics don't apply anymore. We're in a black hole. The only thing that I would really be able to help you with, and you can help yourself with this. First things first, 7.5 is what? Right? If it really is bullish, regardless of whether it does it now or after, maybe if it holds the golden pocket, this is turned into support in order to break above this. Okay? Even if it comes down here, it's not bearish until it loses it, and then you do something like this. All right? And we've been already talking about on the time frame this, right? And if you do get this, you know, we're going to be watching down there, and then hopefully we get a something like this. Shout outs to everybody in Brazil. Do you have levels to the downside, Baratinha? You know that as soon as I leave the stream, you know they're going to fucking dump it to that 7.5, right? Okay, stop loss low or low. If you're bullish. Okay? And like, you know, trying to long 886 is cute, but if it goes to 886, I think it's more like 618 bearish retest type of shit. And guess where that 618 pixel perfect lines up with? Oh, the gap fill button. So you've got levels to look at to the downside and to the upside, okay? Nobody can predict if something is going to bounce or lose. right? But if the narrative is going to continue, that 108 bullish retest is something that you're going to be looking at. Does it have to happen? Nope. Is it going to work 100%? Nope. So you're just going to have to hope the CVD div is there. Most likely a hidden bull div, considering that it's going to be a higher low. S&P should help you. You probably need to make up your mind on if you're going to take it during Macaulay or not. I would. Hitman says, sitting on the sidelines, that wick got me. It's all good, big dog. So this is what I would say, Hitman, and I'm sure that you were probably sleeping. One is, it was perfect 886. Okay? So you have to understand that when it bounced off of the 886, statistically speaking, it was going to go where? Golden pocket, right? And it should have rejected the golden pocket. It turned it into support. Not only was that golden pocket an area where it should have resisted, a little bit below that is your Bugatti dealership. Yeah, so structurally speaking, you had the bottom shorts, you had the swing fail SFP, and you got the reclaim of the Bugatti dealership, and that level had a 3 drives pattern onto it. And that third drive ended up being an SFP. Yeah, so that's okay, but I think anything before the Bugatti dealership is fair game in terms of where you want to get into the long. You know, above Bugatti dealership, good, below, bearish. So it was really just a matter, and if you were sleeping, that's okay. But as soon as it, no matter how low it went, as soon as it went like this, and like it started to do this, oh, best believe it's on. You know, so it's almost like, is that Bugatti dealership really a Bugatti dealership for you? Or is it more like a, I don't know, like a Porsche dealership? Wait, I like Porsches. Fine. Was it a Toyota dealership for you? Yeah, and I think the trickiest part of all would have been that the low didn't get swept. You know, I think I like Porsches. Fine. Was it a Toyota dealership for you? Yeah, and I think the trickiest part of all would have been that the low didn't get swept. You know, I think if you were going to say, bro, I thought the low was going to get swept, that's fine. But then the topic of conversation would have been, but what was your plan B, plan C, and plan D? I can understand you're waiting for that to get swept. I understand Consuelo is right there. But then you must have missed the above this level bullish and below this bearish. And that's something that if you can just learn to do, then that's awesome. In this scenario, I would say that the gap fill, but not mine, is now going to be above bullish, below bearish type of shit. So, yeah. But that being said, Hitman, brother, you didn't do anything wrong, man. So did you see bullshit that we did for this level? You know, and if you are going to try to take a long there, your invalidation is going to be here. But here's the thing. Everybody is going to fucking try to take this, and their invalidation is going to be right here. So just be aware of that, okay? It might do some goofy, like bounce 7.5, get rejected of 618, and try to do like a trident and really shake people out. But you know where the VWAP is, and this is kind of like the below bearish, above bullish. So whatever it does, it needs to get back above. You can kind of see how many 30-minute candle closes stayed above or below this once it did the sweep. So is one big wick. 5 is one big wick, if it even goes there. And then obviously the most bullish scenario is just the sub-range point of control. I think you guys are ready for the next couple of at least 8 hours. NN says, I gotta love the open the gates on your chart. Yup. Yeah, because basically you're gonna start a huge You know, longers, I'm rooting for you. Shorters, I'm rooting for you. Bulls, Bears, we're all Lions. I'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow. I would say maybe 50-50 chance I poke my head in later tonight. Maybe after the gym or something like that. So always stay tuned. You know what? I actually am going to poke my head in because I need to help Mandela with a couple of things for the OBS. So yeah, I guess I'll see you guys. Maybe even if it's only for like 30, I'm definitely going to be back later tonight. So if you're here, awesome. If not, don't even worry about it. We'll regroup tomorrow. We got levels to the downside, levels to the upside. Can you guys give it up for Houston and Cage? Quit playing with me. Can I get a kachoya? See you guys tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Later. All right, y'all. Have a great night. Peace, everybody. Bugatti kachoya.